There's a lot of brave Gamera the Brave supporters that are bravely rooting for this film.
I just really want to shout out for the braveness. What's the proper tense for braveness?
The bravery.
There you go.
No, go with braveness. I should have just left it at that.
Guys, shout out to all you braveness, brave people. All you little turts out there. All you turts, turtles, tortoises, torts.
Yeah, torts. Turts and torts.
All you turts and torts out there, welcome back to Podzilla. This is a show where me, Micah Drake, and my chivalrous co-host, Jasha Drake.
Chivalrous?
Dude, you just get more gracious every day.
Hey guys, I'm Jasha. It's good to be your chivalrous co-host.
No,
today.
hold on. I think it's only fair. Let's restart that, okay? Guys, this is Jasha the Brave.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll own that. Thank you. Hey guys, Jasha the Brave here.
This is a podcast where we go through every monster, every kaiju movie, one by one. This is the last proper movie episode we're going to be doing for Gamera.
The last Gamera movie, you're right. After this, there was a short film, and then there was the TV series, which we'll be doing next week. So this is
wrapping things up with a neat little bow.
Yeah, wrapping Gamera up. And this is also the end of the Gamera Heisei era stuff as well. Talked about it the last couple of weeks, but there's the Gamera Heisei trilogy with the darker tone. And then there's this one, which came out 5 years later, 6 years later, 7 years later.
Yeah, if you think about it, the whole Gamera Showa era is like the present. The Gamera Heisei trilogy is like the box.
Oh.
This is like the wrapping on the present. The short film was the neat little bow, really.
And then what's Gamera Rebirth?
That's like the little name tag addressing the present to someone.
So the whole Gamera franchise
Gamera is just a real
gift.
great present. It's a gift.
It's a gift
to all of us.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this though, because it is, again, the last Gamera film, vastly different tone. It's harkening back to the Showa era stuff, putting Gamera's dark days behind him. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. But first off, Micah, I think there's been a few weeks where we haven't had any good news. We just had some merch, some deals.
There's been some good news. Those Godzilla heels.
The heels.
Woo.
Yeah, I guess those were okay.
Yeah. Quick megaNEWSlon, Jasha.
Please.
As of yesterday for us, today at time of recording for the world. Which means nothing to anyone.
In 3-4 days time for you guys listening to the show.
Guys, Godzilla -1 color is now out on Netflix. If you wanted to see Godzilla -1 in all of its desaturated beauty, now you can.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch it. I have not seen it in the black and white yet, but I've heard really good things. Everyone that I've spoken to who have seen Godzilla -1 and then Godzilla -1 color say that Godzilla -1 color is the definitive better version.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited to give it a watch.
I haven't even seen -1 since we saw it together.
You seen it once?
Premiere.
Oh my gosh.
So I'll need to do that ASAP. I can chuck some battle line news in here, right?
Yeah.
It won't be a minute. It'll be like
okay,
half
If
a minute.
you just can't go over a minute, or else it will become battle minute, and I would need to put the music in. But if we can try get around that,
they've just announced their new characters for the next season of the game.
Yeah,
for the season of August, and their new units are from Godzilla the Ride. We talked about this back in our teaser trailer reaction
for Godzilla -1.
Yeah, Takashi Yamazaki ended up directing almost like a cinematic for I think it's like a VR experience or something along those lines. Almost like a roller coaster ride where you see Godzilla and King Ghidorah fighting amongst the ruins of Tokyo.
Yeah.
And Godzilla had a design very much like that of his -1 design, but Ghidorah was all new, and now you can play as both these characters in the game. King Ghidorah seems fun. You can pop him down, and he gives the screen a little jump scare. Kind of like that VR experience right in your face.
I think this is just a whole ploy for them to once again add 2 characters into the game, 2 models that are very, very similar to models they already have. This is the 4th or 5th Godzilla that looks like the Godzilla -1 Godzilla.
Jason, do you know what game you're playing?
How many Ghidorahs have we had? This is like
You know how many Ghidorahs there are for the whole
7?
series?
Yeah, but they announced Varan ages ago, and I've been waiting months. There's no Varan, but here's another Ghidorah and another Godzilla.
This is how I feel about all the people who point to like the Showa Godzilla films, and they're like, oh my gosh, guys, this one is this suit, and this one, the movie after, is incredibly different. And they've got like slightly different shade of toenails or something. Like, it's the same suit, guys.
I just want Varan. I want Baragon in the game. Where's Baragon? Is Baragon in the game yet?
Baragon isn't.
Gorosaurus in the game?
No. Only other piece of news I have is that the Godzilla -1 4K Ultra HD Steelbook is being sold by Target. Pre-orders available now, except they're not because they're sold out.
Oh, they're really already?
Yeah.
Man, that's cool that we're getting like international proper releases of Godzilla -1.
Would you expect any less for the Oscar-winning movie with -1?
You're right. Man, I'm going to be rocking up to Target in my Godzilla heels buying the Steelbook. Imagine that.
I'm imagining it. It's a good look.
Micah, you forgot the most important piece of Godzilla news.
Oh, dude, yeah, this is crazy. Season 2 has started filming.
Of Monarch
Legacy of
Monsters.
The Apple TV exclusive show.
Yeah.
You can listen to our episode on it. We had a great time. My question is, Jasha, no spoilers for the show. Do you think that either of the Russell father-son duo will be returning?
I don't know. I could see them in it as flashbacks, potentially. But I don't think they'll be main characters in the show. I did see a couple photos, like the cast were actually taking photos of their set saying, hey, we're back, we're filming season 2.
Hey.
And I think that the main two characters' father,
Can you tell me the main character's name?
and I cannot remember, but their father wasn't a main part of the last season because they were looking for him.
Right.
It looks like he's going to be a main part of this one, like a main part of the cast, which would be pretty cool. But I'm really excited for Monarch. I'm excited to get some news of what the Monarch spinoffs are going to be.
And it sounds like season 2 might be a bit more of like a Kong-focused season, potentially.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is a few spoilers for Monarch, but Kong is teased towards the end of the show. More than teased. He's at the end of the show. They're on Skull Island with Kong. Godzilla is.
I don't think it's much of a spoiler.
Not around.
Granting that, like, when the trailer for season 2 comes out, Kong's probably going to be in it.
You're right. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm really excited for that show. So I guess we should be like getting it sometime next year.
I think it's expected late 25, but
Yeah,
we'll
that
see.
makes sense.
We'll see.
Nice. Oh, well. Should we get into Gamera the Brave?
Should we get into it, my brave co-host?
Yeah, well, I mean, this was directed by Ryuta Tasaki, and he is well known for directing episodes of Mega, Sailor Moon,
No way.
Super Sentai, Power Rangers.
I haven't seen a single episode of any of these franchises.
Kamen Rider?
No.
Dude, he's well
It's
known.
on the list.
And yeah, this is his only Gamera film he's directed. It's one of the only films he's directed because, again, he's mostly doing TV stuff. But he was specifically chosen for the style of films he makes. They're more geared towards child audiences, and that's where they wanted to take Gamera back to in this film. They wanted to try and return to Gamera's roots, like he was in the Showa series, as a child-friendly monster. So Ryuta was chosen to direct, and Gamera the Brave was the outcome of that.
Yeah, I'm looking at his wiki page, and he's been the director for so many Kamen Rider series and movies as well. It seems like that kind of tokusatsu look is very much up his alley.
Yeah, so interesting director choice. It does make a whole lot of sense. But even just from the get-go, it's a much different tone, even from the Showa era. Let's talk about it. Do you want to bring us into the world of little Gamera the Brave, little monster Gamera the Brave, brave little Gamera the Brave?
Little Hero, Gamera.
There we go.
That's the Japanese title. Back in 1973, the giant turtle Gamera made the ultimate sacrifice, channeling his power and causing himself to combust saving a village and its inhabitants from an attacking swarm of flying Gyaos monsters. Now, 33 years later, a new chapter begins as young Toru Aizawa stumbles upon a mysterious egg atop a crimson stone that hatches into Toto, a baby turtle that starts to manifest abilities not unlike that of the original Gamera, rapidly growing larger and larger and levitating in the air. But out of the calm, a new menace arises. Zetus, a colossal, man-eating, raptor-like monster, and little Toto steps up to the plate to take Zetus on. The village is thrown into chaos as Toto, injured in a fierce battle with Zetus, is taken in by Japanese authorities in a desperate bid to heal him. With Zetus growing ever larger and advancing on Tokyo, Toru, his father, his friends, and all the children across Tokyo must band together to try revitalize Toto for the climactic battle. I really like how this movie, more so than any of the others, feels much more of like a, guys, let's get every child in here to help with this.
Yeah. And I don't know, just from the get-go, the start of this film, like I was saying, it has such a different tone. I mean, the soundtrack, the landscapes, we get like Toru and his father at the start of this film Toru visiting his mother's grave. And then just them just walking along this sprawling like oceanscape with the water, islands in the background, a lighthouse, those big like concrete cross things on the beach. They looked awesome. I don't know what these were, and you said were they wave breakers?
Yes, to break waves.
They're just like the beach is covered in these like
I'm jealous
metal-looking cross things.
I want our hometown to have like a wave breaker pier. That's on my bucket list, is to go to a wave breaker pier.
It looked like apocalyptic. It was crazy. But yeah, like it just takes time to show us all these really interesting landscapes. And it settles on the stillness a lot at the start as well. Like it would just cut to the clouds for a few seconds or just cut to the water for a few seconds as we're getting introduced to these characters and this town that they live in. I just wasn't expecting it. It was very different and a lot more like quaint, very quaint, magical feeling movie.
At parts of it, for sure, like, I think the soundtrack more specifically, but there were elements of like Ghibli-esque films in there.
Yeah.
Like when you watch those movies, it settles and focuses on a lot more of the, like you said, the still calm nature and the environment.
Kind of the beauty and the mundane a little bit, like how it focuses on the food and things like that. This did a bit of that. There's some great fried rice.
The fried rice that the dad
gosh.
makes in this is amazing. And I feel like some of the other Gamera movies in the past have been a lot more gung-ho. And I know the Heisei trilogy did like settle a lot and have a lot of those environmental shots in there. But I feel like those shots were more so focusing on like the danger or the destruction, whereas this focuses on just like nature.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just felt more like a movie to me. Like,
I get that.
The Showa era films, when we were like researching them behind the scenes and talking about them on the show, a lot of them were like, there was just so much talk of cost constraints and time restraints and like all these things that were happening that forced them to speed up production of the suits and the production of the movie. And a lot of the scenes felt quite cobbled together in those Showa films. Whereas here, it just feels like a full-on movie. Like everything looks great. The color grading looks really, really cool and unique.
I think it helps that this was made in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I could fully see this as a movie that like we'd go to the DVD store and get off the shelf and watch at home, and it would just feel like totally normal.
Yeah. I just really appreciated, the style of this movie as we went into it. What did you think of Toru? Because we're introduced to him and his dad early on. They just lost their mother. He's dealing with a lot. He's not connecting with his father.
Yeah, he's going through the motions of growing up as almost a teenager, getting into those
teenage years.
Tenor years?
The tenor years.
The tenor years.
Tween years?
The tween years, yeah.
Yeah.
Getting into tweenage. And especially in that moment where he's visiting his mum's grave with his dad. He's thinking, why the heck am I even praying to my mum? She's ashes in the ground. She's not up in heaven. She's not real. She's not listening to me right now.
It's a real interesting place for his character early on because his father's trying to console him and be like, hey, your mum's watching over us. Let's pray to her. She's up in heaven.
And this is a year after their mums died.
And he's just got this real, like, realist mentality for this kid to have that's just like, don't even talk to me about that. Her ashes are just here in front of me. There's no use even, like, praying to her. Which was just a real interesting place for his character to start off, that he's, like, lost kind of that faith or lost that innocence a little bit. I don't know.
I think when you look at other Gamera movies too, you'd expect the child to be the one almost with the opposite mentality. Like everybody else, all the adults in the world would be super realist, but the kids are the ones with faith. They're the ones who, I don't know, they're able to have a bit more lofty ideas and, you know, be a bit more encouraging to the world around them. Whereas he kind of takes the place of that right at the start of this movie.
Yeah.
Not to say that he's not a whimsical child. We see shots and scenes of him with his friends just running around.
Trying to yank the swim shorts off one another. Just classic boy stuff.
Jasha, you can't tell me you've never done this. This is like a classic thing for boys to do. As funny as it sounds, right?
Well, I haven't done this. I haven't been rolling on the beach with my boys trying to rip the pants off one another. But I have been like, there's the classic, there's the pantsing, right? The pantsing that goes on at school. It got bad. It got to a point where literally like the six of us in my friends group, whenever we were talking to another person, we had to be like holding on to our pants in fear that someone would yank our pants down. It's a problem.
I'm sorry. I never grew up with this fear in my life.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, man. Must have been an early 2000. Must be a 2006 thing going to school. Dude, I'm traumatized. I'm traumatized.
Man, we need to get you into counseling.
I felt for.
Is that why you always hold
Toru.
up your pants around me?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I still do it instinctively wherever I go. Whenever I meet someone, whenever I'm talking to someone important.
You're like, go out to shake the hand with your other hand is just on your waist strap.
Whenever I'm in an important meeting at work or something, I'm like, flip, I better hold on to my pants. One of the boys might be hiding around the corner. It's like that. Is
like Tag.
The Tag movie where like, yeah, their whole lives, they're worried to get tagged. I'm worried to get my pants pulled down.
I can see it now. 2024. Pantsed. Yeah, but he's got some good friends. They have some fun times. But he also has this neighbor, Mai.
Yeah, Mai.
Who they both like to read comics. What's this little frog comic that she has?
Yeah, this manga that she's sharing with him. She had like plushies of him. This frog. I don't know. Let us know. Listeners, let us know.
Sit right in to the show.
I'll read this frog manga that she's reading.
It's Godzilla adjacent. But we also learn that along with him just having a bunch of fun, like Maya especially, she is having to undergo some heart surgery soon. So there are like some still quite dour things in the world around him.
That's what I'm talking about. Like why it reminded me of Ghibli specifically is like those movies, for being so magical and so fun, they always have these like darker things the characters are dealing with.
It's like a little undertone to most of those movies. Yeah.
And that's also why I felt like this is just like a well-made movie is that right from the get-go, we start caring about these characters. They've all got personal things going on in their lives, and they're not always positive. Like there's a whole lot of negative things going on in their lives as they interact with one another. Something I was also really impressed by is even throughout the Gamera Heisei era movies, but previous to this, we still, like even in Revenge of Iris, I loved that film. I've been thinking about that a lot since we watched it. But there were still like a few like random military characters would cut to or random conversations that didn't really add much. I feel like everyone in this and everything that was said in this was said for a reason, or we were cutting to them for a reason, and they did have some really important stuff to say. I was caught up with the plot in this one and the characters in this one more so than it had been in a while.
I think it helps that this one, like some of the Showa movies, focuses so heavily on our main kid Toru.
Yeah.
To the point that there are very, very few scenes of like being caught up in a military plan for how they're going to defeat Gamera, defeat Toto.
And I guess there are a few of that.
I think you more so see it with some of the scientist scenes.
Yeah.
But even when you do see those, it's very clearly as like, these are people who you should almost see as antagonistic. Like,
Here's your classic villain.
you're the bad guys of the movie because they want to steal Toto. They're going to take him away. And the kids should rightfully have him.
Yeah. Like he's just classic villain, just going to stop at nothing to get his hands on Gamera. And then he's got his bumbling little scientist who's always looking up Gamera facts and like telling them to him.
Dude, he used to be 56 yards long. Now he's only 9.
Which I don't mind because it was kind of like your classic villain in a kid's film, right? Just that stops at nothing to kind of take this nice little turtle off the kids that love him and want to protect him.
Oh, for sure. And talking about Toru more, like it's super fun seeing Toru when Toto starts to come into the picture. He finds him just on this random red gem on an island. I don't know how he got to the island.
Yeah.
It was landlocked.
Yeah. Who knows? Just swam.
But it's super fun seeing this little baby turtle. And they used a real turtle for a good portion of this movie. Little Toto. Our dog is called Toto. And the main character is also called Toto.
Yeah, so the whole
Just a
thing
gang
is
of Totos.
Toru's mum affectionately for a nickname called him Toto.
Yeah.
And then he just gave that name to his turtle, to this Gamera. But he was also like saying that he needs to learn to walk by going Toto. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, can you do that again?
Toto. That's how you walk. Toto.
The turtle was walking fine. I don't know what he was on about.
Dude, I could have watched a whole film of this turtle. When he's just
Have like a Marcel the Shell style of movie.
There's times when he just like falls off. He just like tips off a hand and you think he's dead and then he gets caught or he just flips onto the ground. And that shell should be cracked. But Toto survives.
There's one moment in this movie right at the end. The credits are, I don't know, I found them quite fun. Like for a couple of minutes, you just see videos of this turtle going around the place, walking around, sitting on a pole. And in one of the shots, he just walks off the edge, and I literally felt my heart drop for this turtle.
Yeah, man.
He died, and that's my headcanon.
I think I want a pet turtle now. They're the best. However, I would try and feed them better than Toru was feeding Toto, because he never gave this guy any food. Locked up in his room, days on end. Locked up in wherever they were hiding him when he started growing bigger and bigger. Some random cottage. I might get a turtle.
I'm just looking up now.
What do turtles eat?
I'm looking up if turtles are allowed in New Zealand.
This is dangerous.
I think you can.
This is dangerous.
Auckland has banned the breeding, distribution, and sale of the turtles, but they can still be easily bought in Waikato.
Okay, so I'm going to drive to the Waikato.
Drive to Waikato and buy a turtle.
And then, but to get through back to where we are, you need to go through Auckland. Me driving through Auckland and getting pulled over by the cops.
Driving through Auckland does not count as breeding, distribution, or sale.
Oh,
You're
okay.
fine.
I'm fine. I'm okay. Cop's not going to look in the backseat of my car, see
What is this turtle
cages
doing
of
here?
turtles.
Well-fed turtles.
Yeah, well-fed turtles. There's really fun stuff that they do in this when like Toto's at home alone, walking down the steps, going into the kitchen, enticed by the smell of the fried rice, going on his own little adventures. And then it's intercutting with scenes of the boys at the skate park just hanging out. And
The boys.
Just really cleverly shot the same way. Like they're going down a half pipe with their skateboard and it cuts to, Gamera sliding down the steps. They're like exact same motion, exact same shot. It was just really cool, clever, fun. Really fun.
When Toru falls off his skateboard and trips up, and then Toru's dad at home slips and trips up on Toto.
I know.
Oh, the cinematic parallels here are themselves unparalleled.
Them skating around and then him moving the fried rice around in the pan. How about Toto going up against Giron in the kitchen? The knife. The first battle.
Wow. Crazy stuff here. Yeah, it's fun seeing these little shots of like slice of life before Toto starts to grow bigger and bigger.
Starts to fly. Another fun scene when Tori's trying to hide Toto from his dad. Chuck a duvet on him when his dad's trying to clean his room, and then Toto escapes and starts flying up above him over his shoulder. And then, is it Mai? his neighbor sees her and they're like trying to keep it a secret from the dad. Just very fun stuff that I think I've seen in a lot of films since, like Water Horse. I think I mentioned that recently.
Water Horse?
This is
wait. This movie is Water Horse.
This movie's Water Horse. Water Horse is completely just ripped off this film. Even things like Love and Peace, which we covered for Christmas, which is another Japanese movie that's just almost the exact same thing. Someone finds a turtle, it slowly grows up from being small to big, gets kidnapped by the government, they start doing tests on it until it saves the day in the end.
Jasha, I have a very important question to ask of you. First off, listeners, watch Love and Peace and then listen to the Love and Peace episode.
Love and Peace. Oh my oh. One of the classics. You still can't get that soundtrack anywhere, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, I've been looking for it. When Toto grows to like the size of a beanbag, I can't think of anything else.
Coffee table?
A coffee table. Which is the better looking turtle? Coffee table Toto or coffee table Picodon? Because I think Picodon looks way better.
You think Picodon edges him out?
Yeah.
I think Picodon looks way more fake.
I think so too, but I think Picodon looks way more endearing as well.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that Toto, for the most part, when he's real little and still a real turtle, looks great, looks fine.
Even when they're like CGI enhancing his smiles and his blinking.
Yeah, look, it's all fun and games here in Gamera the Brave. But they end up doing like, I don't know, quite a realistic look, I feel, for the turtle as it goes up. Not like realistic, but they give him like human eyes.
Yeah.
Which I know they've done in some of the Gamera Heisei movies, but it just looks weird here.
Gamera eyes are very hit or miss. I feel like they worked here for the most part because they just look way more dopey. But I feel like that works for this movie. It very much, as Toto grew up, he reminded me more and more of Manila and just this like stupid face that you can't help but love.
As he grew up, he reminded me more and more of Franklin. Hey, it's Franklin.
What did you think of...
That was me sitting. I'm like, hey, whoa, it's Franklin. Actually, the first Gamera in this movie, I know he had like a funky name. What was his name?
Advent. Avant?
I think it's Avant.
Avant Gamera is what the style for the Gamera that gets killed in the 70s was at the start of this.
Avant Gamera just looks like Franklin.
He looked pretty good. I liked Avant Gamera. Those Gauss corpses burning, those look cool.
That was a fun scene.
Those look really cool. It's like cutting from CGI to practical. Those Gauss just dive bombing down onto Gamera without their wings out and then using their wings as like parachutes to get closer to him. Have the Gauss ever been better?
Potentially not.
I want to hear what you thought about Toto, because I know a lot of people don't like this design.
Do you mean when he's walking around on fours or
when
walking around on twos?
Either one. The suit, the Toto suit.
The suit itself is fine. He's got like the classic red markings on the underside of his shell, which is a clear sign that Gamera has in this movie particularly.
Yeah.
So it's a fun little way to differentiate this Gamera from the others in the Gamera series. And I do like that when he's walking around on fours, he has to do like the Anguirus stance when his back legs are just on his knees.
See knees,
yeah,
which you wanted with a turtle.
Please, can I have a Gamera Anguirus team up movie? Deadpool and Wolverine, get out of the way.
Anguirus and Toto.
Anguirus and Toto.
Yeah.
He's a lot more smooth. I don't know. I feel like there's not too much to say about him. He's fine for a more child-focused and kid-friendly Gamera movie.
I think it does work for me purely because like he looks so much simplified for Gamera. He looks so stupid compared to Gamera. Like underdeveloped and smooth and doesn't have any spikes or like edges to him. Yeah. But I do kind of like that.
He's very intentionally not made out to be this like creature who's ready for battle.
Yeah, but I think it works with the movie because there's scenes when Zadis appears and all Toto can do initially is just like hang on to his foot as Zadis is stomping it. And it's just this like stupid looking turtle, no edge to him. No, he doesn't look dangerous at all. Just hanging on for dear life onto this guy's foot. And then slowly he like learns to fly and can use his fireball. But you are like, man, how can this guy defeat Zadis? Look at Toto. How can this thing defeat Zadis? So it is cool as slowly he gets more up to the challenge.
And I mentioned it last episode, but I had no clue who Zetus was going into this movie.
Oh my gosh.
I was unprepared for this creature that looks like a proper raptor.
He looks so cool.
He reminds me a lot of, in Jurassic Park, there's the scene at the end where the raptor ends up spitting on, is it Newman? Newman?
Nedry.
He's Newman.
He's Newman.
He's Newman in Seinfeld.
The Dilophosaurus.
Yeah, how he's got like the frills that come out of the sides.
Yeah.
And even
classic Dilophosaurus frills.
Yeah. That we all know and love.
That we all know every Dilophosaurus canonically had back in the age of dinosaurs.
That's right.
Yeah.
How do they know if a creature had frills or not? That's a conversation for another day.
They did it.
Zetus. I really do like his design though. He has a lot of like spines on his back, which kind of look like crystals, but they also kind of look like sea algae.
They're
like
floppy.
Seaweed.
They're like floppy crystals on this guy's back.
And he has the ability, like Yoshi, to stick out his tongue and like pierce through Toto's shell.
The jowls. The jowls on his face.
Got some like chicken jowls.
Like the flesh just drooping down from there. I really liked him. He looked great in the suit as well. Like, this is probably one of the more believable monsters I've seen that has been done through suitmation. The scales looked great, the way it moved. And I think it differentiated itself from like Godzilla or other dinosaur kaiju quite a bit because this guy was lithe. He was like climbing up things, jumping around.
Yeah, he's very agile, isn't he?
Definitely felt like more lizard-like than dinosaur-like.
Yeah. It's cool. I love how these Gamera monsters have found ways to try and differentiate one another. And I don't think that Zetus like stands out in any capacity. I don't think he's up there as like, oh, he's my favorite monster from the Gamera series. But I think he does his part for this movie, for sure.
Very much like this guy is crazy looking, evil looking, dangerous looking versus Toto that really isn't any of that.
Yeah.
I love how the movie shifts as well when Zetus comes into it because it's all happy. And then Zetus comes into it, literally blocks off these people from escaping and just starts eating them like blood-soaked teeth as he's just chomping away.
This might be one of the first kaiju I've seen to actively eat humans.
And
it's great.
You think as well that one of Toru's best friends is just eaten in that scene before you see that he escaped in some rubble. But you're like, flip, this thing just...
He ends up covered in blood. He's traumatized. He's got like the 1,000-yard stare after seeing just this crowd of people eaten. This movie ramps up real fast at that point.
I like the monster fights as well because there's great set piece in the bridge scene. Really cool bridge fight with Toto versus Zetus. And then later on when they're in Tokyo City and they're almost up in the buildings to begin with, fighting one another, then down on the ground fighting one another. Zetus's tongue is crazy when it goes through, fully through Toto's hand and then fully through like his shoulder or his shell and then his side.
This is the latest
yanking blood out
in the long line of movies where Gamera should have died.
Yeah, Toto should have died, but he had that red stone. The red,
right at the very end.
The red stone. Yeah. And I thought it was great. Again, the kids all gathering together. Great scene, Micah.
This might be, my favorite scene of the movie. I think everyone's favorite scene in the movie.
Mine is bedridden after having intense heart surgery.
Yeah. And very on theme with the Olympics. Because this is the best relay race I've ever seen.
Yeah. One to another.
Passes it off to just this random girl with this hopeful, gracious, chivalrous, brave look in her eyes.
For Toto, she says.
For Toto. For Toto! And runs through the streets of Tokyo. And it ends up passing hands, this crimson stone, through like 5-6 different kids as each of them are like blocked by a gate or being held back by a policeman. And it's just got some epic music behind it. It's such a fun scene.
Really, really cool. As all the kids genuinely like band together to save Toto. And even at the end when the military and the scientists are still trying to get to Toto, it ends with all the kids once again coming through the streets, standing in front of the tanks and trucks, not letting them get a hold of Toto. And I think this really embodies what the Showa era was doing for. Like, it took all the parts that made that special with Gamera, protector of the kids, friend to all children. Like, I feel like the Showa era films did that all right at times. They showed that connection all right.
Yeah.
One of my main issue with the Showa era films and the Heisei era films is that you never feel like Gamera is very intentional with saving people's lives. Like, everyone's saying he's the protector, he's the good guy. But he never really, in the fight scenes, he never seems intentionally
You never
doing
see him
things.
like go out of his way.
No, and
to
in
save
this, you see Toto locking eyes with the kids a lot, and you see him actually actively going out of his way to protect everyone there, and the kids actively going out of their way to protect Gamera in turn, which I thought worked a lot for me. It took what made the Showa era specifically very special, and I think it perfected that kind of friend to all children formula.
And while I look back in hindsight and like really love what the Heisei films were trying to do, I think this movie works great as part of the quote unquote Heisei era for Gamera. Because it provides a real stark contrast from movies that really didn't make an active decision to try and show that bond between the children and Gamera. To a clearly defined movie where the children are the closest to Gamera compared to the adults.
Yeah, and it's real interesting because even though this is clearly standalone, I feel like it works as kind of a spiritual sequel to the Heisei era movies. Like, this starts with the fully adult Gamera, like, burning himself, exploding everything, defeating the Gauss. And people are scared of them. They're monsters. And then this kid getting a new Gamera, and everyone's still being scared of what it could potentially turn into because they remember that old Gamera. Even though the timelines don't match up very well. I like to see this as either like a spiritual sequel to the Heisei era or even the Showa era stuff, just this kid encountering Gamera again, everyone's still seeing him as a monster, and then him actually having this great bond that proves he isn't.
Yeah, like you said, the timeline doesn't make sense, but it's real cool to see that the Heisei trilogy was doing its own thing. Gamera defeated Iris and then went on to this insurmountable battle against the Gauss, and this picks up almost where that kind of is
an homage.
If you were a kid watching through these 4 movies,
you
would believe that they were the same.
You would.
4 movies.
Yeah.
Same 4 times.
Just the horde of hundreds of Gauss just turned to 3. But, you know. And then, the family stuff all wrapped up quite nicely. The dad, after slapping his son, probably the hardest slap I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how Toru just didn't get sent into the wall with that. What was that dad doing?
Dude, that's the kind of wrist strength that you build up when tossing that fried rice.
Oh my gosh.
All those years of work just into that one slap.
Yeah, after slapping him, he does help him out, help Toru out. And I quite like that click in Toru's father, that his father is actually willing to do what his son believes in and help him out with what he's doing, even if it is dangerous. His son believes in it and wants to do it. And his son's laughing after meeting Toto, which he hasn't been laughing in a while, and the dad's been seeing all that.
I mean, even that scene where he very intentionally like prays and speaks to his mum, who he now believes at the end of the movie is in heaven.
Mum is watching over us or something, he says later on,
very clear change in his attitude and his personality and his belief after spending time with Toto.
Great little through line of him losing his mum and then finding Toto, and then everyone saying he's Gamera. And you know what happens to Gamera? Gamera dies. Gamera sacrifices himself. You are going to lose Toto. And I love that Toru in this is so intent on not losing this person or this thing he loves and cares about. Just like he loved and cared about his mother. He's so intent on not losing Toto. Then at the very end, he's like pleading with Toto. He's like, you can't die. All these kids brought this here for you. You can't die, Toto. And his dad's saying, Toto's going to die. And then Toto doesn't die in the end. And it's just this cool, like, through line. Cool character arc for a little kid. Maybe the best character arc we've had for one of the kids in these Gamera films.
It is quite cool as well because, like, throughout the movie, Toru believes that Gamera is absolutely going to win against Cetus, but that he will die in the process.
Yeah.
Like, the sacrifice play of Toto combusting and exploding himself, taking the Earth's, the Earth's chi?
What was it? The mana.
Taking the mana of Tokyo, of Japan, and using it to make a sacrifice play. Like, Toru fully believes that he can do that. his whole arc, his whole journey, his whole quest here isn't to help defeat Zetus, because that's going to happen, but it is to save Toto.
It's so funny that he almost doesn't care about Zetus. Like he's running into the battleground where Zetus is.
Yeah.
Even in the streets when Zetus is like attacking, he's just looking for Toto. Like he's just all focused on ensuring Toto survives above all else.
I think that makes sense with his history with his mum. Like,
Yeah.
his mum died, and after becoming friends with Toto, like, this is so that Toto doesn't die. He doesn't want what has happened to his mum to happen again to his new friend.
Yeah, and I quite like the ending as well, because even though we don't get this big final battle between Zetus and Toto, we get Toto starting to heat up. And it's that point where Toru fully believes, like, Toru actually doesn't know if he's going to die or not. We don't really know if he's going to die or not. We, sitting there watching, we're like, he's probably going to die. But he didn't. He finally fireballs Zetus, and great shot, Zetus exploding. We even get it cuts to it, and we see it a couple times. The suit just blowing up, guts everywhere.
They just keep exploding.
Another suit lost to the fire.
Yeah. Oh man, rest in peace.
So it didn't feel really that anticlimactic for me. It felt like a pretty cool ending for these two monsters.
Especially because that last sequence of Toto, like, he has just learnt to fly. He's got his jets. You see him spinning around for ages and using his fireball for the first time when he's giant. Like, it's just a fun ending where you see Toto at the peak.
Become Gamera.
Yeah. That's the moment where he becomes Gamera.
And even Toru acknowledges that at the very end, when he says, like, sayonara, Gamera. Yeah. I got some trivia.
Can you talk about the Bowser sound effect?
Oh, yeah, that wasn't part of my trivia, but let's talk about it.
Me and Jasha, one of the consoles that we grew up with as kids, and probably the one that we've played the most of.
Yeah.
Nintendo 64.
We were big
Great
Nintendo
console.
boys.
Bro, get out of here, Sony, and your PlayStation consoles.
Well, I mean, we did.
Except for the PSP.
We did all of them. Growing up, we had probably Nintendo 64. Then
we had 64. We had the GameCube.
GameCube.
We had the Wii a bit later on.
DSs. We had DSs.
We
grew
had
up with.
DSs. We didn't have Game Boys.
No, we missed the Game Boys. But then we kind of switched from Nintendo to PlayStation for a little bit when we got really into PSPs. I remember exclusively like buying games on the PlayStation store because I was like, man, I'm a PlayStation boy.
The actual consoles.
But we never got a PS2. We never got a PS3. And then we just switched to Xbox.
But back in, like, the Nintendo games were the games of our childhood.
We did, yeah. We grew up just, our grandparents' place, they had the Nintendo 64 set up. And we would I feel like we'd just stay the night there all the time intentionally just to play as much Nintendo 64 as we could. Like, staying up as late as we can.
Shout out to our nan who we roped into playing Mario Kart 64 just so many times.
Yeah.
All this to say, long story short, it sounded like Gamera or Toto or Zetus was
one of the monsters.
They were giving sound effects that I know in my mind as Bowser.
It was very clearly a Bowser sound effect. And it was interesting because Big O last week was like, hey, they haven't given Toto in this the classic Gamera roar. And it made me intentionally start to listen out for like, what his roar is. But this is the one that we just heard a few times. Bowser's roar from Mario Kart 64. Which is crazy. And I looked up afterwards and it's like a classic sound effect that Universal had available for movies to use called like Monster Roar 05. And it's been used in a whole lot of different films. And it was used in Mario Kart 64 and a whole lot of other Super Mario games and Gamera the Brave.
I forget that there are movies out there that are just like, people can sample them, people can use them for their movies.
It's funny that this sound in particular, like Nintendo went to the Universal Sound Archive and like sampled this monster roar to make Bowser. It's pretty funny.
How many different franchises out there are there where you have a big turtle making this noise with another character with an extendable tongue?
I guess you're right. It does track. It does track.
And a main character who grows. How many other tenuous connections can we make?
A little guy on the beach with his friends.
Yeah.
Like all those colorful dudes on the beach in
Yes.
Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh, yes. Do you know what they're called?
They
They start with a P. Peepos. Yeah, Peepos.
Peepos. The Peepos from Peepo Plaza in Super Mario Sunshine. Classic.
Yeah.
You go deliver the fruit to them.
That's right.
Yeah. I do have some other trivia. I was talking about the director before, Ryuta Tasaki. And for this film, he intentionally wanted to distance this Gamera from Shusuke Kaniko's more gritty and frightening take when he went into it. And he very intentionally went back and tried to emulate the style of Noriaki Yuasa, who came up kind of initially with Gamera and did majority of the Showa era Gamera movies. And he also wanted to emulate Eiji Tsuburaya, who did a lot of the special effects for the Godzilla films back in the day and created and did a whole lot for Ultraman. So it's just cool that he's going back to this very vastly different style and going back to Gamera's roots a bit with this one. I think this is what I was initially expecting the Heisei trilogy to do.
Well, to be honest, like it was quite a weird decision for the Heisei trilogy to make to distance itself from what seemed to be like the core thing about Gamera was the children.
Yeah.
So this, very much felt like it was getting back to its roots.
Yeah, it's very interesting that like Kaneko from the Heisei trilogy, didn't he say that like he was trying to emulate the Heisei era of Godzilla or emulate Ishiro Honda's Godzilla films? Like going to Godzilla for the Gamera films.
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
guy's going back to Noriaki Yuasa for them. It's just very interesting when you look at them, the different kind of things they look to draw inspiration from. A little bit on Zetus. Zetus's origins are never kind of explained or even hinted to in this film.
No, the closest we get is that there is a ship that has gone missing, and in the ocean, he's been there eating them.
Yeah, we get a little bit of teasing earlier on that people are missing in the ocean. There's a quick shot of like a survivor from a shipwreck floating in the ocean and getting pulled under and blood just coming to the surface. But they are explained, his origins, in like this encyclopedia book, Gamera the Brave, Super Complete Works.
Hey.
And it states that Zetus was a semi-aquatic lizard that was mutated after feeding on the corpses of Gauss.
Oh, that's a cool little origin there.
Which is pretty cool, eh? You
Yeah.
think of like these irradiated mutant Gauss that this lizard's just been eating and growing into these Zetus. Cool connection.
It's so funny that so many of the monsters post-Showa are just connected to Gauss.
It is, eh?
Like, it's all revolving around the Gauss.
And how much Gauss is in the films now after being in 2 Showa era films and all the other ones when he was used in clip show stock footage and in Guardian of the Universe and then coming back again in Revenge of Iris and now in this. And I know that they're in the short film and I know that they're in Gamera Rebirth. They've very much cemented themselves as the Gamera villain by this point.
Yeah.
Like Gamera's there, Gauss has to be there some way.
It's like the King Ghidorah of Gamera. But like, it's so funny that they're treated in much more of like a minor villain way.
Yeah.
It seems to me like they're never treated as like the huge foe that Gamera is going to go up against.
No, only initially. Now it's like you need a swarm of them.
Yeah.
You need a whole swarm, or at least
It's
3.
the giant condor of Gamera.
Yeah. Another like little connection to the Godzilla stuff is that the creators of this Gamera the Brave intentionally were looking at how well the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy did, and they saw that it would just had a whole lot of financial success, the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy. So like, hey, we need to try and return the character to its roots, become a bit more for the children, just intentionally to try and make some money because the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy was so well received, which is pretty cool. And then the last little bit I have here, and I was pointing them out to you during the credits, Micah, but Daimon and Kappa from the Yokai Monster movies make brief appearances as little action figures during the credits of this. And you guys know we're going to be tackling the Yokai Monster series from Dai later this year.
Sneaky Dai.
Sneaky Dai, connecting everything together.
Jaysha,
Yeah.
we've been skirting around our thoughts on this movie.
Have we?
We haven't been. But we've been skirting around our final thoughts on this movie.
Yeah.
Jaysha, if you had to sum it all up and give this movie a rating, what would you give Gamera the Brave?
Let me just look through my notes here real quick. Just going back to like the coloring, this whole film had this faded beige color to it that I thought really fit the tone it was going for, the more relaxed, quaint tone early on.
You know, that's the color I think of when I look at you, Jasha.
Just that faded beige.
But like a very quaint,
I'm wearing a faded beige shirt right now. It's my color. The credit song was really fun. It was really nice. Over that turtle getting up to hijinks during the credits.
So don't just feel 信じていさ someday 君を so well 守るため I'm here to stay もしも君が涙抱いた空なのなら I'll be right by your side
Another great iconic credit song. The flashbacks with Toru's mom were really nice. Very impactful. We only get a few scenes of her calling Toru Toto. I think measuring him at one point, him standing on the table while she's laughing, her smiling. And Toru, a few times through the movie, like, is sitting in a room and suddenly all he can see is his mum. And I just thought it was really impactfully done. I really liked how they did it, because lesser films would spend a lot of time in those flashbacks or do it a few times, or show us this whole story of why she died and why she's not there and their relationship. But we just get, like, again, real impactful, her smiling and laughing and calling him Toto. I just really liked how they did it.
When you have a character like that who's supposed to represent like a character or idea more symbolically, you don't need to overstuff them into the film. Like, she serves the purpose that she does. And it's when you get those very scarce but very powerful moments.
Yeah, and as a whole, this movie was really good. I really enjoyed this. If I was at that little restaurant that Toru's dad owns in this film, if I was getting some fried rice, I'd really hope he would give me 5 extra portions.
5 extra portions?
I think this is my favorite Gamera film. I truly I really enjoyed this. I don't think there's anything in it that I didn't like. The characters were all really fun. Just, again, this whimsical tone that I don't think any of the other Gamera films nailed, where the spirituality kind of intersects with how the Gamera's relationship to the children and the battle against the monsters. It's like all the elements just worked really well in him growing up to overcome adversity and the kids growing to that point alongside him. And again, I think none of the Showa era films were perfect with what they were trying to do, but this really does take those elements and put them all together and create something perfect that embodies what I think of when I think about Gamera. I think I'm going to be thinking about little Toto and Toru in this, which is strange because Toto isn't really Gamera, but I guess he becomes Gamera at the end.
Well, that's the same idea that you had in the original Gamera movie, right? Is that you had this kid who had this turtle who wasn't really Gamera, but who he fully believed was Gamera.
Yeah. And even in the Heisei trilogy, again, loved Revenge of Iris. And I really like what they were going for with the darker tone there. But I think this one just screams Gamera to me. And it's just a real, I don't know, like a real nice, comforting watch that I just really enjoyed. I think it had a lot of interesting visuals and just a really nice story at the center of it. I'm 5 out of 5 for Gamera the Brave. I think this is my favorite Gamera film.
Man.
Perfect.
Jasha, if I'm rocking up to this fried rice store,
here's a seat right next to me right here.
Thank you. I'm gonna finish my main portion, but then I'm gonna order 3 and maybe a half portions extra. I think that this movie gets a lot of those themes of Gamera right. Like, in my head, Gamera has always been a friend to all children. Always. But while it doesn't do anything real bad, I just feel like it wasn't super duper great. It was just a nice film. Like, it was fun. It wasn't trying to be like the be all end all greatest Gamera movie ever in my mind. It was meant to be a movie for the kids.
Yeah. And I guess you're right. Like it wasn't looking to blow you away with the monster stuff like a lot of the Heisei era did, or even the Showa era did with some of the special effects. Like it was a little bit lacking on that end. So I totally get that.
I feel like at the same time, a lot of the characters just don't end up doing too much here. I mean, like Toro in the end, I love him as a character, but he is really just encouraging Toto a lot of the time. And I don't think you need a character to do much more than believe in Toto for the type of movie that this is. But at the same time, I think there's a world in which like you could do a very mature Gamera movie still with a child at the center. Not to say that this doesn't feel like a mature movie with, good character growth for them, but I feel like there's still a ways you could go. And it might just be me looking at this being like, this is a classic early 2000s movie. Because this has the same feeling and style as so many, like, I don't know, not Disney Channel films.
This or Water Horse, Micah? What would you choose?
I haven't seen Water Horse in a long time. But at the same time, like, yeah, I'll give it 3.5. But I am still sad that this never found its way into like a continuation, a second movie with this Gamera, with these children.
Perfect little launch pad for a series.
Yeah, I'm also surprised in anything that this caused the Gamera franchise to be really just out of any more movies, any more shows for over a decade, nearly 2.
Yeah, very interesting, eh? And still to this day, the last Gamera film, and I don't know if there are hopes for another one, because I don't think Gamera Rebirth did exceptionally well. Like it was well received, but it didn't.
There might be a season 2?
There might be a season 2, but yeah, the last Gamera film, and yeah, I really liked it.
Guys, so many of you have hyped up the Heisei Gamera trilogy, and so many of you have hyped up Gamera the Brave.
A lot of Gamera the Brave. There's a lot of brave Gamera the Brave supporters that are bravely rooting for this film.
I just really want to shout out for the braveness. What's the proper tense for braveness?
The bravery.
There you go.
No, go with braveness. I should have just left it at that.
Guys, shout out to all you braveness, brave people. I need to learn some brevity. Jay should get on with this.
First up, we have a message here from Spencer. I think Spencer watched through the whole Gamera franchise for Podzilla and has sent him reviews for each of them. So it's been really cool to hear about your journey while we've been going through ours, Spencer. Spencer says, if Major Spielberg's son directed a Gamera movie, it wouldn't be exactly like Gamera the Brave, but I think it would likely be frighteningly close. Does that mean Gamera the Brave is a bit derivative of other coming-of-age, child-focused, a kid and his otherworldly friend adventures in the vein of E.T.? Probably. But if the shoe fits, why not wear it to run a marathon? Gamera the Brave feels like the most comfortable, logical endpoint for the friend of all children side of the franchise. The relationship between monster and child is its beating heart, while not shying away from the heavier themes and a bit of the green gore that we've come to expect. It's a great kids movie that I'm jealous I didn't see growing up. And also a shout out to Mr. Aizawa. He's the real MVP. I give Gamera the Brave a very hearty 4 out of 5 extra portions of special fried rice.
Spencer knew, man.
Spencer was onto it. He was right along with us.
Spencer's just across the table from us. We're all sharing this meal together.
Yeah. No, that was a really good review, and agreed. I would have loved this growing up. I would have really loved this. I wish that I'd been shown it as well.
We have an email here from Connor. Gamera the Brave is the final film in the Gamera series, which is sad to admit. I've loved spending time with this big turtle, and while this wasn't his greatest battle, it was a pretty good entry into the franchise. It combines elements of his Showa and Heisei eras together to make a fun, modern film. The monster fights and the plot revolving around young children felt ripped straight out of the Showa era films. The practical effects were awesome, but they didn't give that gritty, dark quality that his 90s trilogy did. I was happy to see some children get starring roles again, especially because they were well fleshed out and interesting. Ryo Tomioka was a very likable main character as Toru, and even if he was constantly putting himself in danger, you have to commend his commitment to Gamera. Baby Gamera was the cutest thing ever, and I loved watching him grow up.
Yes.
Those early scenes where he got up to mischief around the house and restaurant were so enjoyable. It made me think of scenes from family films like Stuart Little or even Gremlins. I could totally see Gamera the Brave fitting in with those. The redesign that they gave Gamera is a lot more childish and friendly than the Heisei films, and while I do prefer the realistic look of that trilogy, his design here suited the storyline. He was once again the friend to all children, something that is very clear from the surprisingly emotional third act. My only wish now is for Gamera to be introduced into the Monsterverse. That would make me so happy. I'd also love for a new Japanese film, of course. I really hope the King of Turtles is revived one day. Maybe now that I've finished the Gamera series, I will go back and watch the 30-ish Godzilla films that I still need to see. 4 out of 5.
Man, I agree, Connor. I could have watched that little turtle walking around for ages. The scene when Toru tries to drop him off at the beach and then walks home, and Toto's just like slowly walking up behind him, walking up the gravel path, walking across the road,
being run over by a truck.
It's great.
We have an email here from Liam, who says a great return to form. Yes. After the Heisei trilogy abandoned the child protagonist of Gamera's past, I was glad to return to a more whimsical narrative. Toto is adorable, and the story was nice, but I admit the monster felt a little too Godzilla.
Ooh.
Possibly the best Gamera movie? Possibly the best Gamera? 4.5 out of 5.
Agreed. Possibly the best Gamera.
Is this the only Gamera film you've rated 5?
Yeah, it is.
Flip.
Yeah, it is. I really like this. I really, really enjoyed this one. I think more than any, like I think I'm going to revisit this one a few times and probably revisit Revenge of Iris, and those are going to be like my 2 Gamera films. Maybe the old school Gauss one. We'll get into it. We'll do a Gamera retrospective at some point, and we'll get into it. And the last review we have is from Mothra Fanboy, who says, "Wow, just wow. This is better than the Showa era, the Heisei trilogy, Gamera Rebirth, even Super Monster. To me, this is one of the 2 perfect kaiju films, alongside Godzilla -1. The massive cast of children shine brighter than Keiichi from Gamera Super Monster. The monsters are awesome too. Gamera is the cutest thing of all time in this movie, and Zedus is an incredible new kaiju for Gamera to fight. I will continue to sing the praises of this incredible film until the day that I die." I also loved the Gamera vs. Gearon reference, when the turtle Gamera was crawling around and a knife fell onto the floor. Anyway, again, this is one of the 2 perfect kaiju movies, and I'm giving it 5 armies of children out of 5.
One of the 2 perfect kaiju movies.
I think you forgot half human, and it was meant to be 3.
Yeah.
But that's great. That's great. And that's the last Gamera movie we're going to be covering on the show for now. Next week, we're going to be covering the entirety of Gamera Rebirth, which came out last year. You can watch it on Netflix. Animated Gamera, which like reintroduces and redesigns a lot of Gamera's classic foes. And I'm very interested because we were like doing the show when this came out, but we intentionally didn't watch it. So it's going to be our first time watching it. And the little synopsis goes, in the summer of 1989, 4 kids in Tokyo witness the emergence of the turtle kaiju Gamera, who bravely stands up against human-eating monsters. Are you ready for Gamera Rebirth, Micah?
I'm ready to be reborn myself.
You ready to be reborn?
Yeah.
And again, the week after Gamera Rebirth, I mean, stay tuned. We'll have a link going out in our Discord and in the show notes next episode, but we are going to be doing a Gamera retrospective, similar to what we've done with the Godzilla ones, where we'll ask you guys what your favorite movies were, what your favorite monsters were, maybe your favorite child protagonists or moments throughout the Gamera films. We're going to do a bit of ranking on the show ourselves. So yeah, that'll be in a couple weeks' time. So get thinking, and we'll flick up the links to that form very shortly.
And we will also be covering the short film along with next week's episode. Is that right?
Yeah, I think next week let's do it next week. Let's do a short little bit at the top of next week's episode. Short film and Gamera Rebirth.
Short bit, short film.
Short bit for a short film. Correct. But yeah, that's us, guys. Thanks heaps for listening to Podzilla as always. We really appreciate you guys. You do have a Patreon if you're interested in getting more bonus content, patreon.com/Podzilla. And we also have a Discord. Links in the show notes. You can chat with us throughout the week. And it's a really cool community that we've built there. So would love to have you guys involved.
But until then, everybody, Stay brave.
Stay brave. Hold on to your shorts. Just make sure you got them pulled up,
Watch out.
protected, because you never know who could be yanking them down around the corner.